Welcome to Uncharted Entrepreneurship, your front row seat to daring stories from the boldest business trailblazers forging new paths across industries. I'm your host, Brent Peterson, armed with inside access, sitting down with partners, founders, and CEOs in the entrepreneurial world. Let's explore. Welcome to this episode of Uncharted Entrepreneurship. Today I have Mikhail Zabazinsky. I knew I'm going to butcher names, and I really apologize. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us your correct pronunciation of your name, which I know you just did in the green room. I appreciate that. And your day-to-day role, your business, and one of your passions in life.
Sure. So my name is Mikhail Zabazinsky. I own a company called Ocean Tech and actually another company called WipeOS. We are in the what is called the IT asset disposition space. We basically get rid of old technology or no longer needed technology. And our second company is a software company that then destroys all the data on that outdated technology. So my day-to-day roles now are kind of co-CEO. I have a business partner. We're 50-50, and we share the CEO. So day-to-day, kind of in that top leadership position, and our entrepreneurial journey kind of started by working for a company similar to what we do. We were young, right out of college, and we decided to try it on our own, and with a different idea, a different model from what we had previously worked for, but same industry. And we went out there and we tried it, and 18 years later, it worked out.
So you're the serial entrepreneur that's done it in less than 20 years.
Yeah. Well, the Ocean Tech, our main company, we turned 18, and then our software company is about 6 years old. We brought it to market about 3 years ago. So that is kind of a fast-growing, exciting area for us.
Awesome. Give us a little bit of background on how you found the idea, why you decided to do it, and then tell us how is it having a co-CEO?
Sure. So our idea came from the company we used to work for. They would just fill containers of technology and send it overseas, and they weren't doing much with it outside of that. And there wasn't a huge local, U.S. market for these used goods on a national scale at the time until eBay came about and some of the internet really changed things. So we were able to create more of an e-commerce platform that returned value to the customer for their older technology. Instead of just shipping it in a container overseas, we would refurbish it, rebuild it, resell it here, and then give the part of the proceeds back to the customer. So that was something actually quite new in our industry. People were not really doing that. So that's one reason why we took off, I feel. Having a co-CEO is it's great, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not so great. It's like any other relationship. It has its ups and downs, but when we've been working for a long time to get our relationship in a place where we're on the same page, or we can commute even when we're not, we can communicate that to each other. So we actually have quite a great relationship, and we're both directed in the right direction of where we want to grow the company, and we're kind of on a mission. So on a mission together, and it's good to have a partner, someone that can fill in when you can't, and lean on and bounce ideas off of, and he's more conservative and I'm more the risk taker. So together we kind of even each other out. So that's a good balance. Overall, I would say it's a very positive experience. I would just say, you really need to have the right person in that role. I'm just lucky that my partner has been a childhood friend of mine since we were like 8 years old. So it's worked out.
And do you split up your duties by discipline? Like one is going to do marketing and sales, and one is going to do accounting, or how do you split up the duties?
So yes, we have some duties we split and some duties we share. So my partner's got a financial background more than I do, so he kind of has done a lot more of the accounting, bookkeeping side, uh, finance side. He's also gotten pretty good at the HR side, so he does a lot of the HR stuff. I'm pretty good with the sales side and the processing equipment kind of technology side. So I'm more heavily running like the sales teams and the equipment processing teams. But together, we come together on large things like marketing, like inbound sales, stuff like that. We work together and we try to put our heads together and we try to hold our leadership accountable to, I guess, both of us on certain things like that.
Have you implemented anything like EOS or a structure to put into place?
So, we did, I read Traction and my partner also read Traction within like the last 6 months. And we both really liked it. It definitely opened our eyes to a lot of things in our company. So, we did the thing that they say not to do, which was like, we implemented some of it ourselves. Like, we definitely cleaned up last year. At the end of last year, we used it as an opportunity to like clean up our organization and the structure a little bit, and the we built an accountability chart, and we built we went through some of those exercises ourselves, and but we both are we on the same page that we want to move towards a full EOS implementation. So we actually going to be talking to some implementers in the next couple months. Like we have some referrals that have been given to us. I think our concern, our issue is that right now we don't have possibly the right integrators in our company, and we're not integrators, so we do not want to play that role. Like we clearly belong in that visionary strategy role up there. So we recognize that, and so we don't think we would be successful if we try to be the integrators ourselves. And so we're just trying to figure out where do we find the right integrators to make it work for us, I guess.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So, I think over this 18-year journey, first, why did you decide to try EOS? And then second, why did you decide to join EO, Entrepreneurs Organization?
So, uh, you know, it kind of started. We met somebody through an associate we worked with and doing some networking, and this person was an EO member, and they are also like we hit it off and we started talking, and they're doing really well in a similar space, and we were like kind of dumbfounded like how he was able to accomplish some of the stuff he did, and we're like, what's your secret? And he said, Traction. I don't know if have you guys read Traction? And I said, no. So he kind of pointed us to it. So then we read it. And then, I asked him about EO, and he said, yeah, he found a lot of value out of EO. And I uh, have been wanting to get back into kind of like the entrepreneurship community and like meet more peers and do more of that. I actually used to when we first started 15 years ago. I was part of a CEO roundtable through the Minnesota High Tech Association, and that was like a really great experience, big learning experience for me. But then like honestly, like success made us uh hide in this cocoon. Like we were just like in the trenches for 15 years, and then like didn't look up, you know. That's how it just felt. And so we were completely disconnected from any kind of entrepreneurship community. We honestly weren't even really involved at all in our industry. We were trying to hide, and because people kept copying us every time we did something smart. And so we were just focused on our own success. We never really went after competitor. It wasn't about that. We were just we're forging our own road, and that just took so much of our mental energy that we forgot that there was a separate world out there. So I'm trying to expand back out there, because you find yourself on this island, and so that's one thing going forward. I felt like EO would be a good mechanism for that, or a good avenue for that. After going through forum training yesterday, I wasn't, I guess I didn't understand how much personal growth and kind of the mechanisms of the 5% and some of that, how involved it was, right? I didn't, so I'm interested in that, and we'll see how that goes for me. So I guess it's a little bit more in depth and intense than I thought it would be, but I'm open to the journey.
Yeah. So this is a perfect time to talk just to figure out what is your expectations. And now that you've gone, in our green room, we did talk a little bit about maybe having a revisit in 6 months, but for now I wanted to kind of capture what those expectations are that you would like to see out of EO, and then maybe let's revisit this in a short amount of time, or 6 months to a year, to see how we connect those dots, right? I'm really interested in hearing how you think, or what you'd like to get out of this and your expectations, and then let's go back and revisit it to see if those things have come true, or if I would also say that before you did forum training, forum, the idea of being in a forum is different than what maybe you expected, right?
Correct. So yeah, I think my main expectation going into it, and one that I still have, is that I'm really looking for help in my growth journey, right? But really in my business growth journey was my initial intent, right? I'm trying to grow my business. I'm trying to get it to the next level. Obviously there's problems and issues that I'm going to encounter that I haven't encountered, but I'm sure many others have. So I'm looking for help in that business growth journey, right? That's one main thing. And I'm not against, and I will definitely commit to trying to on the personal growth side as well, and we'll see where that leads. But my initial intent was, hey, I'm really trying to grow my business. I really want to meet other people with the same intention, and hopefully, it will help me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, just so our listeners understand that EO is not a networking group. It's not a group where you're intending to try to find more business. In fact, it's the opposite. We have a no solicitation policy. So, what I've found is that I've been able to share my experiences with other entrepreneurs, and no matter what the space is in, if you're in the software business, or you're in the hardware business, or you're manufacturing something, everybody has the same challenges, right? We all have the same challenges as being a business owner. So I think that's what when I first started, my realization was, hey, wow, I've been doing all this all by myself, and I can get some help.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm at, is I could use some help.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mikhail, we have a few more minutes left here. what would you like to see in your future self in 1 year? What would, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, what would you like to see out of that?
I'd like to see myself achieving more, of my vision, obviously. And part of that is uh, implementing EOS, finding the right integrators, being able to elevate myself a little bit out of the business to focus on some of these other entrepreneurial endeavors and my overall strategy of growing the business, hopefully through even acquisition. So it would be nice to by the end of the year to see some of that happen. So if I'm running EOS and it's going well, and I'm and I have the time and resources and energy to be looking at acquisitions, that's where I would love to be in a year from now.
That's awesome. And so, as we close out, I want to give you an opportunity to just do a shameless plug about yourself or about your business. Tell people how they can get in touch with you and why they would get in touch with you.
Sure. People would get in touch with us for one of two reasons. One is they have a lot of technology to retire, or a data center that needs to be decommissioned, and they're looking for some value back on that equipment, as well as if they have any kind of data security issues where they need to destroy a lot of data or wipe their data center or wipe all of their equipment before it leaves their door, then WipeOS is kind of the solution for that. So if you need a data center decommissioned, Ocean Tech's your company, and if you need some data wiped, WipeOS is your company. So
that's awesome. Thank you, Mikhail Zabazinsky. Did I get it right? All right.
You got it right.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure speaking to you today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure, and I really am looking forward to my EO journey. So
great, perfect. Thank you.
Uncharted Entrepreneurship is a production of Content Basis LLC. Copyright 2023. You can find more award-winning content at contentbasis.io. And that wraps up the latest edition of Uncharted Entrepreneurship. Bold tales from entrepreneurial trailblazers. I'm your host, Brent Peterson, signing off after an incredible fireside chat with one of our intrepid trailblazing guests. Their first-hand perspective on conquering the unexplored wilds of business is just a taste of the rare wisdom you'll discover from pioneering entrepreneurs on this show. I also invite you to join me each week for insider commentary on the startup scene and digital marketing landscape on my Talk Commerce podcast. You can find Talk Commerce wherever you download podcasts or go to talk-commerce.com. I'd be grateful if you left a review and rating for Uncharted Entrepreneurship to help more bold founders find their way to game-changing insights that empower ventures to transform communities. This is your host, Brent Peterson, signing off for now. I'll see you around the virtual campfire next episode as we embark on another adventure into the great entrepreneurial unknown.